Uh, uh, may I welcome Mohita to continue with the next session. Uh, Mohita is really going to talk about AI-ready docs and transitioning from a tech writer role to a content architect. Mohita has extensively worked in terms of transforming traditional documentation into uh, heavy, density kind of data for rack systems, and she's actually pursuing her PhD in data science and has more than a decade of experience in this area. So, may I request Mohita to take stage?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Ramesh, for telling about me. So, okay, I will just share my screen first of all. I hope it is visible to you. Okay. So, as such, I'm hoping that you guys are enjoying the session, and I'm going to take over from here, and I'm going to talk about today about AI-ready documentation and how you can transition from technical writer to content architect. So just a quick introduction about me. So I am enterprise AI knowledge architect, and I also worked as principal user assistance developer at Oracle. So total, I have 11 years of experience, and also I'm doing PhD in data science. So I have published some of the papers in Scopus Index journals, Sprinter book series. If I talk about my working experience, so I worked with InfoEdge, DigitalOcean, United Airlines, MTT Commerce, and Data Safeguard. So let's start with the first. Okay. So what we are going to cover in this session. So first of all, we will talk about what is AI-ready documentation, the real cost of AI hallucinations, real-life hallucination examples, myths regarding AI hallucination fixes, strategies for AI-ready docs, how RAG actually works, what is LLMs.txt and why it matters. And at the end, I will tell you that I have created a AI auditor rule, which I have done it myself, and I will give you the glimpse of that. So first of all, what exactly we are doing at this time in the documentation field? We are creating documentation for the users normally. But the things are changing as such. We are already discussing that we are going towards AI-ready documentation. That means we are creating documentation for LLMs. So we are actually, training our chatbots on our documentation. It could be documentation, it could be your tutorials, blogs and articles, it could be any type of content. We are just training our LLMs on that particular chatbot. So in short, you are getting answers from the LLMs. Previously, our users were directly reading the documentation, but now they are questioning the chatbots and they're getting the answers out of that. And now what I have observed is that people are creating the documentation for users and they are training that documentation on LLMs. Basically, we are just trying to create documentation, and that documentation, which was for the users, we're expecting that it should be giving good, correct answers from it. And I think that is not possible because we are giving garbage in and we are getting garbage out. The documentations are not for AIs, they are for users. And now you must be thinking that why that is not working for you. Because the content is unstructured, the content is having content gaps in that, and we have broken references also. No doubt we are doing referencing in the in our documentation, but for when you're creating documentation for AI, you have to be more towards interlinking in proper way. So what is exactly is AI ready documentation? So AI ready documentation is a content formatted for AI specifically so that AI agents can search, read, interpret, and retrieve content from it. So if the chatbot is giving incomplete or incorrect answers, we call it hallucinations. So I will give you one example of this, that real life example here. Okay, so if you see that if this particular this is random documentation I've taken from net scrap.do. So suppose this is a topic, extract data from response. So I just want to get answer. Suppose I'm the user, I just want to get the answer from it. So normally, if I type here, I have how to extract data from response while integrating Zapier with scrap.do. And I have mentioned that you have to check from scrap.do documentation. And when I asked this question to AI, this was the answer which I have got. Now you compare the answer with the documentation. This was the answer which I was supposed to get from it. And this is the answer which I'm getting from AI. So that is called hallucination. This is very incomplete answer. No doubt it is giving the correct link to me, this documentation link, that is correct one, but the answer it is giving to me is totally hallucinated. That is the best example of hallucination. So, okay. Okay. So next is, these are the examples which I have already mentioned that. Okay, so why we need AI ready docs? That is the main question. So normally, if the documentation is not good, if your users are reading it manually, they are going to raise the support tickets for that. In this case, if the documentation is good also, but AI is not giving the correct answers, so support tickets are going to increase in this case. And on top of that, we also have to face hallucination text. This means if the question is if the topic is not having the proper content in that case, AI is going to invent information on its own. So it will add on information which is incorrect. That is the main concern here. So your documentation do not have content gaps, because it will have content gaps. In that case, AI is going to fill that content gaps if the user asks the question from that. Next is LLM API cost. If the documentation is very unstructured, just imagine the situation, the documentation is very unstructured, AI has to find the answer from it. It is going to read the document and it is going to take more tokens in that case. And tokens means cost here. So in short, the documentation has to be structured so that AI takes less tokens. And in short, your company has to face less cost in that case. Another thing is that if user is not getting the correct answer from this, so users are going to keep on asking the question to AI, which means if it is asking reasoning questions, then that means more API, more token cost, or you can say API cost. Next is accelerating product engineering workflows. So of course, accelerating product developer onboarding adoption will increase by 20% if the documentations are structured. So what are the consequences of this? So first is, if I talk about the global losses from AI hallucination, that is $67.4 billion. 47% of the enterprises are making major decisions on hallucinated content, right? And here, just okay, 4.3 hours are actually wasted by the employees to verify the AI outputs. Because obviously we cannot just depend on AI to give the correct outputs, and we are not verifying that also. We are verifying the outputs, and normally it is measured that per week, per employee spending 4.3 hours to verify the outputs. $14,200 per employee per year is spent on AI hallucination mitigation. 39% of AI-powered customer chatbots were pulled back due to hallucination errors in 2024. 4.4 million. Average single error carries a price tag of 4.4 million. Now you just imagine the things. So what are the myths about AI documentation? So first myth is that we are just thinking that if we have created the documentation for users, and if we feed that documentation to LLM, so LLM is going to give correct answers from it. That is not true actually, because we are giving not the correct inputs and we are not going to get the correct outputs from that. Next was basically, we just think that, okay, fine, we have documentation for users. If we are just clarifying the things in that, maybe explaining the more reasons in that, that is going to work for us. That is true to some extent that, okay, fine, if you have more clarity in the documentation, more clear content in that, AI is going to get answers from it. That is correct. But besides that, we also think that, okay, fine, if the answers are not correct, maybe we have to fix the chatbot. That is one part. See, if we are having a machine, just imagine the things. If you're having machine is not working perfectly fine. We just fix the machine side. That is good. But what if the oil is not good? That here oil is data. That is your documentation on which you are going to train your chatbots. So if you're fixing just the machine, that is a chatbot, hallucination will stop to some extent, but not completely. So you have to fix the documentation part also. And next thing is that companies think that, okay, fine, if we are just having the bigger models, maybe if, suppose they are using ChatGPT at this time, they think that, okay, fine, we use Claude, newer model of Claude, that can help to give the correct answers to the users. That can help to some extent, that is correct. But again, that is partial solution. Another thing is that they think, okay, RAG can solve the problem. Okay, that is correct, that you are, RAG is just a framework, okay? I will explain you that framework. So RAG can solve the problem to some extent. That is correct. So these are the myths basically which companies are facing at this time. Now, I will talk about RAG. RAG is retrieval augmented generation. As a technical writer, we should know how actually works on the AI at the backend. As such, we do not have to, work on the AI side. We have to work on the documentation side. But if we have to work on the documentation side, we also need to know that how actually things work at the backend, so that we can devise strategies accordingly. Okay. So now, first is data preparation layer. In this, your documentation, your tutorials, any kind of content is there. Then extraction layer, that is PDF, OCR, you're going to extract the content from it. It could be web crawlers also. You are just scrapping out content from the website. That depends on how you're doing. Then very important, I think Ramya has already talked about chunking also. So that is chunking. Chunking means you're dividing your content into different parts. There are different strategies for chunking also. The point is that we have to divide our content into different parts. Just take an example. Suppose the documentation is of 500 pages. Each page is divided into 2 chunks. Just an example. So total you have 1,000 chunks with you, right? And these 1,000 chunks are converted to embeddings. Now, what exactly is embeddings? Embeddings means the content, the chunks which you have got, these are converted to 0-1 format. Because see, machine does not understand your English language. Whatever English, maybe you have written the documentation in some other language, that is something which is not understandable by AI. So that is converted to embeddings. That is in 0-1 format. And then these all 1,000 chunks will be stored in the vector database here. Right. So vector database, we have different type of vector database. We have ChromaDB, we have Fez, we have Milvis, we have Qdrant, we have different, Pinecone is also there. Like different kind of vector databases. Even Oracle also have vector database. They have AI vector database actually. So in short, you're saving your content here, and out of these content, now we have to retrieve the content further. So suppose some user asks a question, right? And that query is converted to embeddings again. Again, that is converted to 0-1 format. Let's suppose a user has asked question, tell me key features about VPC. Just an example. Suppose this is a question which user has asked. So now this vector database has all the chunks about the documentation. Of course, it will not read the whole document. First of all, AI does not read the whole document like we humans read. That is something we have to understand. It just chunks the documents. It shortlists the documents out of that, chunks out of that. So question is, what are the key features of VPC? It will see that what are the chunks which have the answer to it, which are close to the answer. Suppose those chunks are 5 chunks. It has shortlisted from those 1,000 chunks, right? So now these 5 chunks have the answer, right? Answer could be scattered here and there, but these are the 5 chunks which have the answer. Now what it will happen? It will check that which chunk is the highest probability chunk which could have the answer. That is, re-ranking will happen here. So here you will see that different 5 chunks are there. They will be given the rankings. This is the first rank. This is the second rank chunk. And accordingly, these are shortlisted chunks are sent to the LLMs along with the query. So in short, along with the query, these 5 shortlisted chunks will be given to the LLM, and now LLM will decide, okay, this was a question and these are the answers, and I have to figure out the answer from it. It will read those chunks, it will understand them and create the answer out of that, and then display the answer to the users. This is how actually work. And we have different things are there. So how basically it measures the chunks, which are the correct chunks for it. There are two things. There are similarity search. It check, okay, fine, VPC, where is VPC in the document? Okay, fine, this is okay. Just pick this chunks and put that in the vector database. Another is semantic search. So basically, it will understand the meaning of the query, and it will understand, okay, fine, these are the chunks which are relating to the meaning of the query, and accordingly, it will pick from that and then put that in the vector database or from this relevant database. Okay. Now, how to solve the messy user queries? So pre-retrieval strategy is there. Sometimes what happens, user does not ask the proper question. That happens because here there is no problem in the documentation. There is no problem in the AI, but the problem is there in the prompt. So now what to do in that case? You cannot teach prompt engineering to the users. You just have to find the solution out of that. Suppose the user has asked the question, pricing enterprise versus pro. It has not mentioned, user has not mentioned that which product and what version it is asking about. So in that case, we have this pre-retrieval strategy where we employ this is done on the AI side, actually, not on the documentation side, that they employ something, they employ the pre-retrieval strategy here. They enhance this user query. It will ask some of the questions from the users, that what product you're talking about, what version you're talking about. So in this way, user has to answer the question, and accordingly, new prompt will be generated by the machine automatically, and then that will be given to the chatbot, and accordingly, the answer is taken out. So now, what companies are doing at this time? So companies are aware that they are facing hallucination and they are losing a lot of money because of that. So what they are doing to solve that? First of all, they're trying to fine tune the LLM. That is on the AI side. They're trying to upgrade to new LLM models. They're adding more chatbot guardrails. Now, what exactly is guardrails? Guardrails is kind of a boundary you are setting for the AI, that you do not have to cross this boundary while answering the question. Like maybe you do not have to give the unethical answers. You have to give answers in this format only. These type of guardrails you put in the chatbot. They're trying to buy hallucination detection models. And the most important thing, they are ignoring the documentation layer. That is the problem here. Some of the companies are not understanding that okay, you are just fixing the AI part, but your documentation is not structured. The documentation is having ambiguous content in that. You are not going to get good answers from it. That is something which companies need to realize at this time. So still some of the companies have realized that, okay, fine, some problem is there on the documentation side also. So what they're doing for that? These are my observations, that first of all, they are trying to convert docs to Markdown. Of course, Markdown is something which is more understandable by AI. So understanding the content out of that is much easier for AI. Retrieval is much easier if you're following Markdown. They're adopting docs as a code. And the most important thing, they are publishing LLMs.txt files. I don't know how many of you have heard about this, so I just want to hear from you also. Have anyone heard about this LLMs.txt files?
Yes, we have applied it.
Yes, I think I'm not able to hear anything. Some problem is there on my side, maybe someone is talking.
Yeah. We have implemented it, Mohita. We have implemented LLM.txt in our PU docs. But after you finish your part
Can
in
you okay, no worries. So I will tell you what exactly is LLM.txt. So LLM.txt is just a markdown file that tells AI agents and LLMs what content exists. It summarizes a product and how it is structured, which pages are authoritative. So this is just a markdown file, which is kind of guide, and publish this on the website, right? when AI agent will scroll your website, it does not understand HTML very well. It understands Markdown. So if you publish a file on in the website, it is much more understandable by AI that what exactly is there in your website. I will show you the example here. I think that will be much more better if you can see the example yourself. I think it gets a little difficult for me to close this. Okay, I think it is not closing here. So. Anyways, why it is required? So it is required to guide the chatbots, basically, or maybe AI, to get the correct answers from it, so that it is just a Markdown file just published on the website. It could be any website, it could be documentation website, it could be normal website also. So why docs as a code? So it is very important if you are if you're creating AI ready documentation, if you're following docs as a code, I think that is much more easier for AI also to, retrieve the content from it. Because in this case, you are using Markdown and you are integrating different softwares with your, your documentation authoring tool also. So that becomes very easy for the AI. So what happened in this case? So if any updation happens, suppose you find that, okay, fine, we have to update this documentation. And of course, you cannot expect that again, the content will be taken from it. And then, chatbot is trained on that again. So if there is automation pipeline in that, if you're doing some updation and that updation is also happening on the chatbot side, so that is very good thing. And that is possible with docs as a code. And in the same way, if you're having static document generators, site generators like mkdocs, Docusaurus, so these generators also create llm.txt file for you. I wanted to show you the demo that how to, have this document. I think it is not.
There is an option to end the show them.
What are the different strategies? I think I'm not. Someone is talking. Maybe I'm not able to listen anything here.
Use that end show option and you can show it, right?
What are the practices, best practices for AI ready docs? So first is known issue section. I think this is something which I observed in most of the documentation, that this section is missing. What exactly is this section? Can you help me this? I just want to close this out and I want to show you.
Try pressing escape or.
It's not. Okay. Okay, I will show you my own documentation example here. So this documentation I've created for Oracle from scratch. So I will show you that how we used to add this known issues section here. So we normally add that in release notes here. What are known issues? Basically, what are the problems your software is having at this time in this particular release? So we used to tell that this is a bug and this is a problem and this is a workaround of it. That depends what format you follow. But this format we used to follow in Oracle. So what are the problems and what are the workarounds? If there is no workarounds, simply we are writing none. So I think this is a good practice. If even this is not for AI ready docs, this is for the users also, if you're creating the documentation. So yes. So why it is more important for AI ready docs, that is important thing to discuss. It is important because if you are not writing anything that this particular feature is not working at this time in the software, AI is assuming that, okay, fine, this is something which is workable because you have not mentioned that in the documentation. as a user, if we are not finding the answer, if we are not finding the information, we just assume that maybe we have to confirm. But AI answers it very confidently that this is working because it does not find anything wrong with what it does not find any information regarding that this is not working. So if you're not mentioning that in documentation, so it is going to say that this particular feature is working and it is going to guide users in a wrong way. That is why it is more important to write this known section issue. Then next is explained headings. See, if we're just writing overview and AI is not able to understand that what overview it is talking about, this section is talking about, you have to write in explained way that overview of VPC, for example. So normally as a human, we understand that what overview it is talking about because we have intuition. But AI does not have intuition. You have to mention each and everything that what exactly is this, what is there in this particular software and what is not. Mention that properly in that. Right? So next is metadata. This is very important. I think Ramya has already talked about metadata also, that we need to write metadata in this. What exactly is metadata? Metadata is, I will show you the example. I think this will be better than metadata example. At the documentation topic, you have to mention that what is the documentation ID, document ID, what is the status, what is the version, and what is the product name. It is not defined that you have to mention this only. You can create metadata according to your needs also. This is just an example. So it guides AI that what version this document is, and this topic is from 1.2.2 version. This topic is from 1.2.3 version. So AI needs proper guidance in that case. And you have to mention that depreciated, not in use, or it is updated one, whatever, right? Another example, version status is reviewed, classification. These kind of things you have to mention in the documents. Because this, okay, I will tell you one example that why it is more important to have metadata. Suppose a chatbot is trained on 3 to 4 versions, last versions of the software also. The first version is, for example, 23.4, 23.5, 23.6. These are the versions. Now user asks a question. AI does not know that from which version it has to pick the answer from it. In that case, you need to mention that this particular is this is the latest updated version. And this is the depreciated one. So if it read, okay, this is depreciated one, it does not have to read this answer. It has to pick the answer from some other version. That is the latest version. So accordingly, it will be guided properly. Next is docs as a code and markdown. Of course, this is very important that we have already discussed also why docs as a code is important, why markdown is important. And if you see that most of the JDs are already mentioning that they need people for docs as a code, they need people for markdown, these kind of things. We have already discussed that. Okay, now next is adding metadata, adding FAQs and glossary. I think you were already doing that. I know most of the people are doing that. FAQs, but still some of the documentation I have seen that they have no FAQs, they have no glossary in that. But in case of AI ready documentation, you need to add more FAQs as compared to you were adding for the users. I will give you one example here. I was just going through this documentation. I have found that they have, they have proper, first of all, FAQ section here, right? Besides that, they also have most of the sections and they have covered FAQs at the end also, if you see here, FAQ dashboard. For most of the sections, they have FAQs at the end. And they have special FAQ section also. So I think this is something which is the best practice if you're creating AI ready docs. Okay, so I have created a tool that is called AI Readiness Auditor tool, which I have created myself. This tool actually helps in creating the documentation for AI specifically. So as such, what exactly it do? First of all, it generates metadata. What we were discussing, that metadata is very important. It creates metadata. You have to just fill the raw data to it. It will first of all try to find the content gaps and then generate the content out of that. It will create metadata for you. It will create FAQs for you. It will create glossaries for you, and it will also create prerequisites for your content, whatever content. So if I can show you here. Okay, I think this is not properly visible here. So I will show you the example, these screenshots for this. These are the screenshots of the output of this particular auditor tool. So basically, you just have to put your raw content here, and you can select any type of input formats. It could be in Markdown, data is also there, text is also there. So in short, after this, you will be getting the content gaps here. So as I mentioned, that it is very important that your documentation content should not have content gaps, because AI is going to invent different information on its own then. So this tool will actually give you the content gaps, that what content gaps it needs, those needs to be addressed by you as a technical writer. And then here you have to mention the answers for these questions, whatever questions it has, right? So basically here you have to mention the answers. If you do not have any answers, you do not want to add any new information, for example, just simply write there, ignore these questions. Okay, after this, you will be getting this type of answers. This final optimized content here. So it will write different type of prerequisites for the sections, glossary, FAQs, right? What are the verification steps? What questions this particular page has answered? So all this content, it will generate it on its own. And then, okay, one more thing which I have done this, it will also give you the score, that how much score at this time your your content is regarding the AI readiness. It is given 42 out of 100, that for example, it needs to be fixed basically. And then I've also put here that amendment logic here. Whatever changes it has done, it will do some of the rephrasing also. It will add on some of the things. So whatever changes it has done, it will give you the point by point explanation that why it has done the changes and where it has done the changes. So that is amendment logic here. Sorry, I'm not able to present you this demo. The reason for that is this is not deployed at this time. Otherwise, I would love to show you the demo of this also, because this is going to take a lot of time. That's why this is not possible in this session. But these are the outputs which I have got from this tool. Okay. So I think I have covered most of the things. So thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this session. And if you have any questions, please ask. You can ask that.
Thank you, Mohita. Thanks for that excellent session.
Can you hear me? I think I'm not able to listen anyone. Just let me join again then. Just wait.
Are you able to listen now?
No, Ramesh, it's a problem from our side. She has to quit and join again.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think she is.
She is joining back. Ramesh, she's joining back.
Yeah. We'll just give it a few minutes.
Do you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. What about you? Are you able to hear us? Maybe you're on mute or
Again, your
something.
voice is not coming. What happened to this?
Try to increase the speaker volume.
Hi, Mohita, are you able to hear us?
She's joining back.
Let me just try it again.
Yeah.
I think again the problem's coming that voice is not coming here.
Try rejoining once again, otherwise we'll see. Yeah.
Okay, guys. Now you can share your questions if you have any.
Hello. Are you able to hear now?
The problem is again there. Okay, you can just write the questions in the chat box
Yeah, I think
otherwise.
if somebody has any questions, please type in the chat. That will help. Please feel free to chat here. Chat with Mohita or.
From my side, volume is 100%. And I don't know why it is not, nothing is coming out of that.
Guys, if you have any question, you can type or you can get in touch offline, I think. Else we'll end the meeting. What do you all think?
So I just have okay, my voice is echoing, so I don't know what's going on, but I just have some information for the group.
Who's asking, do you have any tools that can access the whole docs? So at this time, Raghu, the tool which I created, this is not taking the whole docs. Because for that I have to implement RAG also. This tool is already in progress. So my concern is that, okay, fine, at this time it is not taking the whole documentation. But in future, I'm just trying to figure it out that how to create in such way that it can take the whole doc at one side. So yeah, because what happened, we at this time just trying to create a tool which just solve the purpose. If we feed the whole document, so output can affect, because see, this is the tool which I have created locally at this time. That is why it is taking more time to give the outputs. If I'm using the AI, available LLMs. So in that case, it is taking the cost also. But this tool is taking zero cost at this time because this is deployed locally. So that is why I'm not giving the whole doc to it at this time. Because if I give it, so it will take a lot of time to give the outputs. So it's better to get the good outputs by giving the less information and getting the better outputs and getting fast outputs at the end. That is why I have not done that yet. You have deep links from company. All things did you consider to make this tool working to find air and talk? Like which things you consider to make this tool? Okay, consider in the sense that first of all, it should be finding the content gaps. As I mentioned that if your content gaps are there in the documentation, so first thing is that you have to mention that what are the gaps and what you have to mention the answers to the gaps, and then you have to, it will incorporate those gaps while making the content for you. Right. So what are the other things? Can you explain this question again? That what type of things you want to ask me here about the tool? Okay, yes, some of the things are that first of all, that I have put some guardrails also, that it has to give answers, it has to read the whole content properly. So some of the guardrails I have also mentioned in the tool. that it does not have to add on some new information on its own. Because what happens if you're having LLMs, so LLMs put some more information on its own also. So some guardrails are there, which I have definitely put that while creating this, this tool, so that output should be good and it should not eliminate some of the content from it. Because what happens if a tool is there, it is eliminating some of the content. Suppose important notes are there, it is not writing that notes. So that is these type of guardrails I have put also in the tool while making this tool. Deep links from the company where product websites to specific URL helps AI bots. Can you explain this question, Raghuram?
Mohita, are you able to hear us?
Okay, any other questions? I just want to understand, okay, Markdown is not localized friendly, which can negatively impact localization. Markdown is not localized friendly. Yeah, that is true to some extent that Markdown is, but still Markdown is something which is very much, not localization friendly maybe, but for AI ready docs, it is very important, Markdown. That is why companies are shifting towards Markdown at this time. Maybe not from localization point of view, but from AI ready point of view, that is definitely there. So any other question?
Hello, everybody. I think since Mohita
Yeah,
is
sure.
not able to hear, I think
There was problem
we-
that I was not able to hear any of you. So if you have any questions, I will encourage you to reach me out on LinkedIn also. We can connect there. We can discuss the things out of that also. So thank you so much, everyone, for listening me. I hope that you have enjoyed the session here.
thank you, everybody. Thanks. I think with that, we will end the meeting. Thank you, Lakshmi, and thank you, Sudhanshu, for staying through the session. I really appreciate it. And thanks to everybody else who's attending. Have a great weekend.
Thank you so much, Ramesh.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you,
Thank
Ramesh.
you, everyone.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
Prashant. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Ramya.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.